Hello, what is going on, guys? Phoenix61 here with another World of Warships Legends videos. Who would have thought? We are in the Izumo, right? So this is a ship that, I don't know, I keep coming back to. I keep trying it. I keep trying to get a little bit better with it here and there. Right, so I really like this ship, and it's like, it's one of those ones I don't see it out there a lot, so that makes me like it a little more too, right? Like, I kind of hate playing, with a few exceptions. There's some ships that I like, right? I know everyone hates, like, the Shibakaze, but I still play the Shibakaze, right? It's like, that's for the stupid people, right? but so with Izumo, like, it's one of those ships where, like, not a lot of people, I don't see a lot of people playing it. I feel like it could be good, right? But I'm still kind of getting the hang of it, right? So, we have one of those, pretty good game here, right? So, actually, stay tuned. It's a pretty epic win at the end as well. But, yeah, this is definitely one of those ships where I'm like, I want to be better with it, right? So I'm playing it more and more and more, right? So, but yeah, it's big and fat and slow, but it's got some nice hefty guns on the front. It's like I always want it to hit like the Yamato, and it just doesn't seem to do that very much. And then I'm always like people are good at wrecking me when I'm in this ship as well too. So I think I need to learn some defensive strategies with this guy, right? But so I kind of park it right here just because I was hoping exactly what happened here. This Kansas, I was like, something's gonna pop up over there once our destroyers that are out there by A start picking stuff up, right? So we'll be able to get a little bit, of course it's, the ships are all pointing this way, which I was hoping would not be the case, right? But at least we've got some stuff we can fire at, right? I'm always kind of like, if you're in a ship and you're not firing your guns or doing, if you're just chilling there waiting, like, you're doing it wrong, right? Like, you're not being productive, you're not helping out your team. But always this game, I'm going to say this, it's every single scenario, every single game is always circumstantial. There's no one strategy to play, right? Like, you're going to have different amounts of cruisers and destroyers and battleships. Who knows what kind of crazies are on your team? Who knows what kind of crazies are on the other team, right? So, I'm always a huge fan of shooting and getting rid of destroyers whenever possible, but of course we've got nice chunks of island between us and these guys, so we're not really able to get shots off on them. But yeah, so how we tucked ourselves in behind, the B-hole here, you kind of suspect people to send torpedoes through there, so that's why I didn't chill right in the middle there. And then also this gives us a little bit of an opportunity to not be spotted as well. So, we know this Kansas is moving in, right? So I was hoping to be able to kind of confront him and keep Zone B out of his hands, right? That's a formidable foe, right? The Kansas, right? So we'll see how this goes, right? And then Shimanto out there, way out there, like, this will be a good shot. It's at range, right? We're kind of right at our max range, but we're going to take that shot and hope for the best. We'll probably get over penetrations, who knows? But it was a good angle, right? And then I'm pointing this way. Yeah, we get a Citadel on them. Yeah, look, he lost a lot of health from that. So I was pointing this way, hoping that rear turret, it's, like the third turret. It's hard to call it the rear turret because it's not in the rear of the ship, right? But, yeah. So, and then we're just maintaining some angle here. This Kansas looks like he wants to play smart as well. So he's not going to give up a lot of broadside to us either. But we've got an appropriate angle. If you tease them just a little bit with a little bit of sidewall, sometimes they'll shoot that and then they'll get the ricochets. So since I noticed he's not going to give in and just let us murder him, so we switched to high explosive shells, right? So we'll see if we can do a little bit more damage this way, maybe start some fires, we'll see what happens, right? And then I noticed he was turning a little bit, and so I switched back, and then now he's not again. So I probably should have just left it on HE. But yeah, this was one of those games where, like, I feel like with the Izumo, like, it just started out slow, right? And I feel like that happens all the time when I play this ship. I'm like, this game's boring. But it picks up. It picks up pretty good. The first thing is this Kansas is just, like, he's committed, right? He's like, I'm coming in. I'm coming all the way through, and I'm going to get you. So, We do have support. We've got a battleship just off to our left side, our port side here, that's also helping out. But I had a little bit of a concern here, just the way he was YOLO rushing through. I'm like, he's gonna try and ram me. So we're in full reverse, but if you've ever played this ship, it takes about a good hour and a half to start moving backwards after you've put it in reverse. So yeah, we're slowly starting to move a little bit here. And then, so if you notice we've lost ships on that side of the map now. So their destroyers now officially have free reign to come through and push through Zone A, right? Along with the Shimanto that was way out there, and then we've got another cruiser as well. So we're gonna have to just kind of keep that in mind, right? I fully suspect torpedoes coming from our port side from destroyers, right? Like, guaranteed. And then, yeah, we're down 2 ships already. We've lost 3 ships, but they've lost 1, right? So they've got a 2-ship advantage on us. This is where I was like, dang it, like, yeah, I wish I had HE loaded, or AP loaded, right? We've got this nice shot. So I switch, and then, of course, like, he's probably going to end up turning or ramming our other battleship. Who knows, right? So we'll see how this goes. Yeah, and that third turret just needs to be like back a little bit more so that it could turn 360, right? Like, that would be huge. All right, we got AP loaded. We got a decent shot at his side, and this is why I always aim a little high, because we saw some of the shells hit the water. All right, there's Summer. So since we're not a threat from him anymore, from the Kansas, I started moving forward because I fully suspect that somebody's got torpedoes coming our way, right? And then I was like, ooh. So I started slowing down because this Shimanto is like, right here. So let's see if we can't get rid of him. Oh man. I mean, we got 3 penetrations. I can't tell how much damage he's got left, though. This Hipper comes through here. Man, these cruisers are giving it up. They think they've got this one. And yeah, and it's kind of a good thing. I don't know, those couldn't have been from the Shimanto. He wasn't far forward enough yet, so there's definitely a destroyer in here. We will let this fire burn because torpedoes, right? So I wasn't paying too much attention to what happened on the minimap, but I'm noticing now, like, we've got, in Zone C, we did capture the seaside, right? But now we've got 1 remaining battleship over there that looks like, he's quite a bit outnumbered, right? The remaining 3 battleships on their team, right? So they took him out. We take the shot at the Shimanto. He turns away from it. Fine. That's as expected. Like, he's paying attention, right? And then our Bismarck takes out the Hipper for us, which is great, but I'd rather have you shoot at the freaking destroyers. Hello? Like, when you start getting to this point in the game, like, these destroyers could potentially just go, unspotted and then never be seen again, right? So I'm always kind of like, when you get that opportunity to shoot one of these guys, like, get rid of them. Because if it gets to be late game, they're not getting picked up. Like, it's all dependent on which destroyer it is. So we take 2 from this Ostergalen, right? So definitely damage conning that. But if we had damage con that fire before, we'd probably be flooding for a good chunk of time. So that's why we do that. So for once in my life, we managed our damage con correctly. And we're not spotted anymore, right? So the other destroyer must not have line of sight on us. And so this is where I'm like, all right, this game we're screwed, right? But like, I'm stubborn sometimes, and I was in that mood, and I was like, I'm not giving up my ship this easily. So I'm gonna try and get turned away from these battleships over there, right? Bismarck's not too big of a deal, right? I mean, he can do damage to us, but it's, there's worse ships to be broadside to out there, right? So let's see if we can get turned away. This way we're heading towards the destroyers, which, granted, is not always a good strategy, right? Like, I've literally had other videos where I've been like, hey, you know how you don't get shot by torpedoes? You move away from the destroyers. Well, we're moving towards the destroyers this time, right? So taking my chances. Our other battleship, like, he's been out there, he's been surviving, he's going to be drawing some fire or some attention. I can see a smoke screen out here, right? So I'm going to, you know, just off to the left, right behind this island, off to the left of our screen. So I'm assuming there's a destroyer in there, right? And then the Ostergotland was super low on health as well. So, like, he may not want to challenge us quite that, like, easily, right? So I held off on firing the other 2 turrets, and then, of course, there is the Ostergotland. Wish I had some rounds for him. But so we held off on firing those second ones so that we could get this kill, right? So I was just making sure we knew which way that cruiser was going to go before I pulled the trigger, right? He was at a dead stop. We saw smoke coming out of his smokestacks. It was like, all right, is he going to start bagging up? Is he going to move forward? Like, what's going to happen, right? So he was looking at our other battleship. Thankfully, we do have 1 destroyer left, so he picks up the Sommers, and that is the last of the destroyers, right? So we are at 2 kills, almost 90,000 damage, and suddenly we've evened the ship count, right? Like, we were way behind before, right? I'm like, this is a miracle, right? So we've got 2 ships. We've got the Brandenburg, and then I think the Bismarck is coming through the middle as well at this point, and then this Maine is going to be aggressive and just keep chasing us, right? So he's this, like, for a good stretch of time here, he's got himself angled, right? So we're, you know, our best bet is to shoot superstructure, but you can only do that so much, right? Like, there eventually it just doesn't, you know, you take away all the superstructure damage that's available, and then that's kind of it, right? So at some point we're gonna have to either get lucky or challenge him a little bit, right? Because he had quite a bit, he had a good chunk of health left, right? But, like, I'm like, all right, we need, like, somebody pick up this Brandenburg in here because he was almost dead, right? So but the Bismarck comes through. He came through a little bit quicker than I was expecting, right? We get a good chunk of damage on him, but it was like, there's the Brandenburg, right? So I was like, dang it. Because I was like, we need to finish off the ship, right? We need to get rid of ships, right? So let's make this easier on ourselves, get rid of the weakest link, and start pressing in and capping zones. But yeah. But the amount of time left in this game, at this point, we're screwed. Unless we kill all 3 ships remaining, right? So they all 3 need to die, and sometimes things work out. I'm just gonna say it, right? So there's Brandenburg, pops up again. I'm like, we just don't have the shot, right? So we'll take this at the Bismarck. We've got a little bit more broadside on the Bismarck. Like I said, the Maine is just not giving up a lot of angle. But now it's looking a little bit better, right? Like, he keeps kind of moving out, and we keep kind of moving in towards the objectives, right? So we may be able to get a shot on him here at some point. Brandenburg? All right, look at this Brandenburg. Just keep in mind, do you see how much health he had left? Just keep that in the back of your mind, right, while the rest of this plays out, okay? Just, he was a sliver left, right? So this is a scenario where you're going to have a guy that, like, all right, they're way up on points. They've got us outnumbered again. They got rid of our destroyer, right? And so they just need somebody to survive at this point, and it's a guaranteed win. That's all I'm saying, right? That's all I'm saying. And the Brandenburg, like, you know, he's got a sliver of health left. Like, I'd probably do this too. Just don't get picked up, right? Like, don't get picked up. So we take our shot at the Maine, and we get a brutal Citadel hit on him, right? So, I mean, out of 9 shots, we only got 2 good connections, and thank God one of them was a Citadel on him, right? So we're going to take another shot at him because it's literally the only thing we got. And it's kind of like, you know, you have to take that risk, like and of course now we're the only ship left, right? So the Maine starts turning out, and I'm like, man, we just, like, because he was turning out, I kind of assumed we would get the kill on him, right? So he goes down. And I'm like, already, like, after I fired those bullets, I'm like planning on, like, how the hell am I gonna pick up this Brandenburg, right? Like, there's just no way. 45 seconds left. I'm so screwed. We need to get this kill, right? But I'm like, you know what? How much health did he have left? What? And about where was he? Right? He was over here somewhere, right? 30 seconds left. So I'm like, I save one, right? So I use 2 shots from the turrets, right? And I save 1, right? Just in case he gets picked up. But you also have to consider flight time for the bullets. So, you know, it's going to be about 10 seconds around that range that he's at, right? So I have to fire. I have to. I don't have a choice, right? Because now it's going to, like, the bullets are going to take more than 5 seconds to get there. And so that one we saved, we get that hit, and he is done, and that wins the game. Literally last second, all we had to do was nick that Brandenburg. The only thing that could have made that cooler is if that was a Kraken right there for the win as well, but that was kill number 4. So it puts us at 149,000 damage, probably one of my best games with Izumo at this point, right? Like, I know I've had some good ones out there, but it's just like, it's those scenarios where I still didn't even get first place. I still am second place on the leaderboard. Come on. Props to the Tashkent, right? However you say that. I'm sure he was getting XP there for his own caps and stuff like that in defense, right? So props to that guy, but the kills are what we needed for that game, right? So we'll go through the commander build here in a second. I think at that point in the game, I was just in like sheer disbelief that I actually like, because you can't, so that was me finishing off my upgrade, right? So like, maybe if we had this propulsion mod up, we would have been able to actually spot the Brandenburg. We would have gotten there quicker, right? Oh, but man, yeah, so this was from a previous season. I was just like, it was one of those games I'm like, I need to get it out there. I need to make sure I save this one and post it when I can, right? So yeah, but we were significantly complete with the season up to 200 for the campaign, right? But yeah, propulsion mod and target acquisition, right? So this is one of those ships where it's like, you got this slow moving battleship. I'm kind of like, you're kind of always freaking spotted anyway. You're so huge, right? So yeah, being able to, I went target acquisition there, right? But you do you. This is just how we built it out, right? And then this is, who is this? It's not the Celestial Guardian. Did I show it before? I can't even remember at this point. But yeah, Celestial Guardian is the, is this Takeo Takagi or Yamato? I can't remember. I always mix up my cruiser commander names, right? But yeah, this is how we have it set up. So I go for the most part with my Japanese battleships. I'm doing sort of a range accuracy AP build hybrid, right? So that's kind of what I go for. You could do shell switch type here. Like, I'm not a huge fan of that, like, because I kind of am usually committed to, most of the time I'm firing AP, right? So, like, I'm not switching shell. But you do get the extra reload speed, right? It's an extra 5% reload. So, like, if that's what you're going for, like, if you'd rather have the reload, then by all means, right? Obviously, right? So, yeah. Fight fire with fire is a good choice. Most of my battleships I'm using will to rebuild. It's saved me quite a bit. But that is our Izumo game for this evening, or today, whenever you guys are watching this, right? I really do appreciate all of my followers that watch regularly. And yeah, so if you're not following the channel already, here's the BS Spiel sales pitch. Please do so. I am still kind of a small channel, so I actually, I check daily to see if I've got more or less followers. Usually it's like, one more, right? But yeah, one more makes a difference for me. I notice you. Thank you. And we will see you guys tomorrow.